Welcome back to Cancer Buzz. I'm your host, Summer Johnson. Later this month, ACCC will gather oncology leaders from across the country at its 50th annual meeting and Cancer Center Business Summit. That's February 28th through March 1st in Washington, D.C. You won't want to miss this event. ACCC is the go-to meeting for providers and industry to collaborate on the latest technology, business, and policy developments that impact cancer care delivery. Today, we have a special sneak preview of one of the sessions at ACCC. That's up shortly. But first, ACCC offers its members high-quality learning and engagement opportunities around the country, like ACCC. But ACCC members also have 24/7 access to a private listserv to ask questions, learn from, and engage with their peers. It's called the ACCC Exchange. If you scroll through right now, conversations are happening on the cadence of distress screening and strategies for dealing with patients late to appointments. The ACCC Exchange is an active community that you can tap into at any time for solutions to your toughest challenges. Chances are, whatever you're dealing with in your cancer program, someone else is too. Members can find it on ACCC's website at accc-cancer.org. Just go to the top of the homepage where it says ACCC Exchange. Our guest today is a keynote speaker at ACCC, where she will lead a discussion on a model to increase retention and improve the productivity of underrepresented medicine trainees. Dr. Narjust Florez is a thoracic medical oncologist, the associate director of the Cancer Care Equity Program, and an assistant professor of medicine at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute at Harvard Medical School in Boston.
There are several reasons why I consider it to be important to attend the session. The number one reason is that during the discussion, I provide realistic strategies and actions that anyone can take to diversify the workforce, not only in oncology, but in medicine as a whole. In addition, these actions include alternatives that all my colleagues can take to also create a more inclusive environment. So we're talking not only about diversifying the workforce, but that anyone, regardless of background, feels included in medicine. A lot of the recommendations out there tend to be a little bit unrealistic or unsustainable. In my presentation, I focus on what I have done with very little staff that have remained in place, and it has helped create a more inclusive and diverse workplace.
Tell us why you created the Florez Lab.
So the Florez Lab was created in 2019, officially as a name, but there was already a research team that was working with me. As a cancer health disparities researcher, I often lack direct mentorship in my institution because there was not a lot of people doing this type of research. So my experience was not unique. And slowly I started getting messages from other trainees, students, residents that were interested in cancer health disparities, or they felt excluded from medicine. So we founded the lab primarily to serve as a community that will support physicians to be from diverse backgrounds and provide adequate mentorship that is tailored to the needs of each individual. So it started as a need and now has become a whole community.
Tell us about the work it's done.
We have done things across all spectrums. So let's start with workforce. I call this my 2019 hit. Hopefully it wasn't a one-hit wonder, in which we identified that women physicians at the largest oncology conference were not introduced by their professional title. In fact, they were stripped out of their professional title when they were introduced in the podium. This large study led to changes in guidelines at ASCO, the American Society of Clinical Oncology, on how to introduce each other. And we also created the language of respect, of how we talk about patients and talk about our colleagues. We also conducted a large study about the lack of inclusion of women and minorities in clinical trials. That had led to subsequent interventions and study to diversify the patients that are offered the opportunity to be part of an oncology clinical trial. And this is only a few examples. And I think the latest example is we just published the first and the largest study describing the experience of Latinas in medicine during training. The numbers are sobering. High rates of depression, anxiety, discrimination from patients and colleagues. And that has started the conversation about how the experience of Latinas in training may be very different than other populations of color and how we need to attend to the needs of each trainee, each medical student. Those are the highlights of three of the things we have done, but we have done much more. And I will share that during the presentation as well.
Thank you, Dr. Florez. Take advantage of in-person learning opportunities and peer-to-peer networking at this year's AMCCBS. We have the link to register in the show notes. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, for the Cancer Buzz team, this is Summer Johnson.
This show is a resource of the Association of Cancer Care Centers.